Hello, Get Literate community. Stephanie here with our monthly one word reveal. I've got to tell you, I really loved the word joy for June. I've loved it. I've loved the Joy Spotter's Guide. I've been thinking about what might come out of my caramel candy hose. Hopefully you watch the video and the other email to understand what that's about. And I love just choosing things in my reading life that make me happy. The retreat was a great success. We had many of us sharing in the Facebook group the little things that we were doing to give our reading lives a little boost. And I've so enjoyed reading about those, as well as the wonderful emails that some of you are sending as well. So this month, heading into July, I had a word already. I thought the word that I had originally chosen was going to be perfect for this month. And it turns out it just wasn't. Right? And you know that Get Literate is not something that I really pre-plan because I want to enjoy the journey along with you. So the words that I choose really are words that are chosen in the moment from my own life, from what's going on in the world, from what I see inside the Get Literate community and in our Facebook group. And so the word that I ended up choosing is a word that I definitely need, but it's a word that I can't get. Do I have you thinking yet? I think it's a word that the world has wanted for a while and that some of us are getting back and some of us might not yet, but still have maybe an inkling of what's to come. So I don't know if you can figure out what the word is yet from those very vague descriptions, but here is the word for July. Wanderlust. Oh, isn't that a good word? Wanderlust. So I know the world is getting back to normal and people are back traveling, but I am not. I have not traveled since before COVID. I don't have any plans to travel this summer, but I'm getting the inkling to do so. But I just don't want to go somewhere. Like I want to go places. You know that I love reading books that are set in London and Scotland, and I definitely would be up for a trip there. But I also am just kind of thinking about what would it be like to go finally to Italy or just to visit some of those big world landmarks that I haven't seen. Like I'm getting that little urge to travel and see the world. I don't know if it's because my son is graduating and I know that we're going to start being off in different locations. I just want to see it and I want to see it with all of them. But I can't, at least this summer. And so the word that I've chosen is wanderlust so that I can make the most of the summer in this aspect. There are places I can go. There are things that I can see. And the places that I can't, I want to explore through the pages of my books. And that's what we're going to do throughout the month of July. So, my new favorite addition to Get Literate is the book calendar. And here it is for July. Every day of the month, I've got a new book selection, whether it's a picture book, middle grade novel, young adult novel, adult fiction, or nonfiction. Every day is covered. You'll notice some of them we may have talked about or referenced here and there before, but I think finally have a good place on the calendar. Now, all of these books, let's see, it fuels our wanderlust in some ways. So some of them are fictional stories where they are taking place in faraway locations or just in very specific locations that do a really good job of giving us a strong sense of place. Or they're a mix of memoirs and nonfiction where the author is actually talking about that place with that firsthand view that can complement the fiction that we are reading. Some are very light and summary. Some are heavy. And I don't want to say hard, but they'll definitely get us to think. But all of them have this common theme of being able to really imagine whatever the setting is of the book to give us that sense of satisfaction for that wanderlust in us. So you might browse these and take a look and see if there's any locations or settings that you might also want to travel to in the pages of your book, or just see if it sparks something that you want to add to your TBR list instead. So there is the Get Literate calendar. Are you ready for our book club selection? This is one that has been mentioned in the club, in our book club meetings before. Although I will admit, I stalked as many people as I could connected to Goodreads to see if anyone has read the book that I wanted to bring to this, and no one has, although there are quite a few of us that have it on our to be read piles. So I'm hoping, again, that it's a book that none of us have read and we can read together. Are you ready? Here it is. One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. So I already gave it away. I'd love to go to Italy one day. My husband is Italian. I would love to see more about, his family history over there. And so I've got a couple of books on my stack this summer that are going to help me satisfy a bit of wanderlust and hopefully spark some travel planning for a couple years into the future. But this book looks spectacular. It does start off, it looks like a bit sad. Katie's mother has passed away, and unfortunately passed away right before their mother-daughter trip to Italy. But she decides to go anyway. She goes on the adventure alone without her mom, but she gets there and begins to feel her mother's spirit, and then actually sees her. She doesn't know what's happening. She has no idea what the world is handing her right now, but she runs with it. And the story is from what I hear, a really wonderful, stunning description of what happens and the feelings that she goes through over that summer. It's got a very strong sense of place. It's got a very descriptive setting from what I hear. And so I'm looking forward to getting lost in what seems like a really heartwarming family story set in a place that I certainly would love to visit. So there is our book club selection, One Italian Summer. Go grab it from the library, treat yourself, and buy it from a bookstore, and get ready for our book club meeting on the last Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, the next thing I want to share is the coaching. So I've got a nice little play on words here. We're going to talk about in the coaching session what a book flight is. It's basically a collection of books on a common topic or genre or theme that you dip your toes into to get a broader taste of them, kind of played off of wine and beer and coffee flights. But since we are focusing on wanderlust, you can also think of flight as in the literal airplane flight. So I'm going to encourage you to create a book flight, a collection of 2 to 3 books that all embody a setting that you would love to take a flight to. How do you like that for play on words? Book flight. So that's what our coaching will be about in an attempt to add to our summer stack to help us develop that idea of wanderlust. Next up are the writing prompts. We've got wanderlust prompts. So we've got some prompts that get us to think about our future travel we might want to take, but then also prompts that get us to think back on the travel that we did do and the people that we shared those times and experiences with. I literally typed in wanderlust colors, and that was the top color palette that came up, and I love it. I think it embodies a wide range of moods and feelings that we might get when we are traveling and heading out to somewhere new. Next up, so you know that we meet 2 times a week? No, 2 times a month live. One is always the book club, and then the other meeting varies. We've had literary society meetings, notebook parties, and even our reading retreat kickoff. And because July is the first month in quarter 3, I thought we could have a quarterly planning session together. So a session where we can think about what we want the next 3 months of our lives to look at, both in our actual lives, our reading lives, and our writing lives, and just have some fun, setting some goals, sketching some things out, making some plans for the next 3 months ahead. So it'll be light, it'll be fun, it will be lots of back and forth talking, and I'll have a few fun templates for us to fill out as we think about how many books we want to read, what kinds of books we want to read, what notebook do we want to develop, what do we want our days to look like, how are we going to make ourselves, allow a bit of self-care over the quarter, which falls squarely into summer and then moves into the beginning of the next school year. So that's what we'll be doing. It will be on a Saturday. I believe it is July 18th. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my calendar with me to record, but Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, in an attempt to invite others where those evening sessions are not ideal, but it will be recorded and put in our content library for those that can't attend. And then finally, the giveaway. Well, if our theme is Wanderlust, then I thought Traveler's Notebooks would be a really great giveaway. So someone's going to get a set of 3 of these Traveler Notebooks. Now, this is the typical Traveler's Notebook size. Basically, a Traveler's Notebook is a very miniature notebook where you capture your experiences and your thinking from a distinct, what word do I want? A distinct experience or vacation or time frame. So you may have one miniature Traveler's Notebook to capture what you did in July, or to capture what you did on a vacation or a field trip, right? So the Traveler's Notebook usually has a cover that all of these miniature notebooks are housed in. This is not a giveaway for the cover. They're varied. There's many. They're very kind of personal to what your tastes are. These would be the inserts. And even if you don't have a Traveler's Notebook cover, these inserts are great to just simply decorate the cover with our shiny markers and our washi tape and stickers. So there'll be 3 that someone will get. One will be blank paper, one will be line paper, and one will be graph or kind of a dot grid so that you can explore which notebook you like the most. So that is what's in store for us for Get Literate in July. You might have noticed that there's one thing missing that we've had the last couple of months, and that, unfortunately, is the bookstore bucket list episode. I had no idea how difficult it would be to get a bookstore to partner together. I've been successful in the past after multiple tries of getting a bookstore to either send us a list or hop on a podcast call. I'm so grateful for Holland last month of Novel Neighbor for doing that. But I reached out to, it's either 6 or 7 different bookstores, big ones, little ones, local ones, faraway ones. And I got, unfortunately, big no's from all of them because they are very busy. They're all trying to recover from COVID. They're trying to serve their local customers the best they can. And all of them just felt a bit too strapped to send some books or especially hop on a podcast. So lesson learned, I've got to think much farther ahead for that aspect of Get Literate than just a month. So I am requesting bookstores. Do you have bookstores that you think might be willing just to send us a list of 5 books that I could talk about, or might be willing to hop on a half an hour podcast to talk through their recommendations? Then I link to those books, as you know, inside of Get Literate, and those links go directly to that bookstore so that hopefully they get a little bit of kickback for taking the time to do this really fun thing with us. So that's what's missing. Instead, what I'm going to do in our weekly Sunday emails and in the Facebook group is drop a few more book recommendations from the books that I see on bookstores' feeds. So I follow all of these bookstores on social media. And since they weren't able to come together for a podcast, I'm going to start curating what I see them posting about. And that will give us our bookstore bucket list experience this month in a slightly different way. So plan B, flexibility, moving forward. So I hope you are just excited about this Wanderlust theme as I am. I am going to start traveling everywhere through the pages of my book throughout July. I'm going to start my own Traveler's Notebook And let me know, send a reply, put something in Facebook. If Traveler's Notebooks are new to you, let me know. Maybe we'll do a quick session or I'll add a quick coaching video on what a Traveler's Notebook is and how you might try one. I love them because they're tiny and they can be filled quickly, which gives you a really great sense of satisfaction. Okay. That's it for me. Let me know what you think online or in email, and I will see you soon as we start to satisfy our wanderlust for the month of July. Happy reading, happy writing.